Hello, welcome. This is Kim. We are on to the next part of building a RESTful API using Node, Express, Knex, and Postgres. What we are going to do in this video is set up our database on our local machine as well as on Heroku. So by the end of this video, you'll see me update our base URL, create a database on the local machine, configure the development and production environments using a knexJS file, create a table with migrations, add seed data to the table, and then provision a database to Heroku and repeat those steps with migrations and seeds. So first objective is we need to update our base URL so that we are following REST conventions. So right now, the endpoint that we are hitting is /books, but what we want to do is have it say /API /version1 /books. So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to spin up my server with npm run dev and make sure that I see hello books when I put this at the end of my URL. So let me head to localhost 3000. Good, can't get that. And then API version 1 books. And it looks like that's working. Excellent. So we just updated our base URL. Next step is we are going to create a database on our local machine so that we can read and persist data locally. So first thing you go to is our command line, and we kill the server. And we use a command called create_db, and so the data that we're working with in this tutorial is books that I've read this year, but I'm going to name the database something sort of a level up from that. So I'll call it Kim's_library. You can call it your name library or personal library or something like that. So I just hit enter. It looked like something worked, but to confirm, if you do psql --list, all right, I see it right there, Kim's library. Excellent. All right, back here. So we created a database on our local machine. We use the command create_db, all lowercase, no spaces, and then the name of our database. Next objective, configure our development and production environments, and then it says set up knexfile.js. So we need to make this a Knex project. We're going to initialize Knex, and we do that with the command knexinit. And Knex is very friendly, and it says, hey, I created this knexJS file for you. So let's look into that file. It says update with your configuration settings, and then it shows us all of the different possibilities. I'm going to delete that comment. And for this project, we are only going to have a development and a production environment. So I'm going to get rid of staging, delete that. And I want this to be as simple as possible. So I'm going to work just on development right now. I don't need an object for the connection. I just need the string. So we are not using SQLite 3 as our database. We are using PG. And then the connection. This one I always forget. This is I want to connect to the database that lives on my local machine. So I have pulled up this wonderful Knex cheat sheet, and looks like they've got some help here. And I'm looking for how do you connect locally on your machine. So that's the production, connection, file name. So I'm going, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. So connection. So I'm going to grab this string and just sort of make sense of it. All right. I got too many. There we go. All right, so the first thing that goes in that string is Postgres, and then ://. We don't need to worry about user, so I'm going to delete that. Localhost, don't need to worry about that. but I do need to put the name of my database here, and I called my database kims_library. Beautiful. So now what I'm going to do is head into my production environment. I'm going to delete all of that. I'm going to copy this. And here, the connection isn't going to be the database on my local computer. It's going to be a database that we provision to Heroku. And Heroku will set that connection string using an environment variable called database_URL. All right. Let me just make sure I got all my opening and closing curly brackets. Looks good. Awesome. All right, let's look back at our objectives. So we just configured our development and production environments. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a table. So we have our database, Kim's library, and inside of that database, we want to be able to save records of books that I have read. And so instead of doing that manually with SQL, we are going to use Knex and something called migrations. So we need to set up our migrations and then run them. So let's set them up first. Go back to the command line. Command is Knex migrate : make, and then space, and then whatever the name of your migration is. And so we're going to be creating the book table. So I hit enter. It's using my development environment. It says I created this migration. Auto generates this long number. And I've got a migrations folder now, and inside I have this migration file. Awesome. So in here is how we set up the schema, or the way that we're going to organize our data in the book table. And so I've already thought about this in advance, and I created an entity relationship diagram. And I want to have a book table that has these things in it: an ID for each book, title for each book, an author, and a cover image. I've also specified the data types, the Postgres data types that I want those things to be saved as. An ID will be a number or an integer. Title will be variable character, same with author. And then the cover image, which is going to be a URL as text. Sometimes those image URLs are really long, so I want to make sure that there's room for it. So I'm going to take a shot of this so I can use it as I'm creating my migration. Whoops. We'll move it down here. And let's look back at that Knex cheat sheet and see what we've got. Okay, create table. All right, so I'm going to grab this. And inside this, I know I need to return this. So return. So it says Knex schema create table. My table is not named user, it is named book. Excellent. And then it's got all these things. So table increments ID, I've got that. Table data type I want to be varchar. That's going to be the title of the book. And then table, we've got the data type varchar again, and that's for the author. And finally, we've got table, text, cover, image. Excellent. All right. Beautiful. I'm going to delete that. Next thing is we want to be able to create and drop this table very easily. And so this is what the exports down is. It's to get rid of that table. And so what we do is we return the Knex schema, and then we would drop table if exists. And the table is called book. Outstanding. All right, so we are setting up our migrations. Now we want to run our migration. And so back to the command line. If I say Knex migrate : let's see, Knex migrate, I believe it is latest. It should run that migration, hopefully create the table in my database. Awesome, it says I ran one migration, so I want to confirm that. So if I do pSQL and connect to Kim's library, you can see right here it's connected. If I do \data table dt, hey, Hey, look at that. I've got book. And if I do show me the data for book, I've got the ID, title, cover, or author, and cover image. So it looks like that the migration worked. Very cool. So we've got this table in here, but the table currently doesn't have any data in it. And so that's going to be what we do next, which is to set up and run seeds. Or we're going to add seed data to the table. So back to the command line. Clear that out. We're going to do Knex seed : make, and the seeds run sequentially in order, and that doesn't matter for this thing that we're building that only has one table, but it will matter in the future if you have data that's dependent on another, so you want to order these. So I'm going to say make 0, 0, and we'll just say books. Hit enter. Using my development environment, created a seed file, books. Let's take a look in there. Alrighty. Got seeds here. Awesome, books. So gives us some helpful hints. Deletes all entries. Return Knex. Our table is called book. So I'll change it here and here. And then the code after line 6 is actually inserting the seed entry. And so this needs to match our migration or our ERD. So let's bring that back. All right, so the ID is going to auto increment, so I do not need to worry about that. I do need to insert the title, so then that's going to be title, that's going to be a string. I need to enter the author, which is a string, and I'll need to enter the cover image URL, which is also a string. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to get rid of these, and for our practice purposes, let's do 4 books, and so now I actually get to come up with the data I'm going to insert in my table. Oops, I see a little red squiggly. Looks like I don't have a comma here. All right, so I've been keeping track of the books I've read in 2018, and so I'm just going to grab some of these. So Wave was one of the books that I read. So the title there, Wave, a memoir, and the author. Put that in there. And then the cover image URL. So if I search for this, and then I go to Google Images, and click on image of the cover, because eventually this API will probably be used to show books. And then I view the image, and then I grab that URL, and I put it in there. All right, for the sake of the video, I'm only going to do this one more time. So delete that one, delete that one. You are not a gadget, a manifesto. Title. Author is Jerome Lanier. And then the image, let's see, open a new tab. You are not a gadget. Search for images. Click on this. I will view the image and then grab that URL. Excellent. So depending on how much you want to play with your API, reading and posting and deleting data, you probably want to add 2 or 3 more entries. But for now, I have 2 different books that I want to insert into my database. So let's look at our objective. So we added seed data to the table, so we've set that up, but now we need to run the seed file and actually insert the data into the table. So let's go back here. We'll run Knex seed : run, hit enter. It says ran one seed file. Let's confirm. Let's connect with our database, Kim's library. And then we're going to select all from book. And oh, look at that. I've got the IDs are auto-incrementing, title, author, cover image. Excellent. All right, let's quit out of there. Cool. So let's look back at our objectives. So we just took care of a lot of things from line 7 to line 14. Let's just make sure we didn't break anything. So let's run npm run dev. We haven't done anything with the Express server or the route, but just to confirm, so go back here. Beautiful, that is still working. So let's commit these changes to GitHub. Oops, I need to add first, git add all, and then commit. So I add migrations and seeds. Beautiful. Now that we've done all of this in our development environment, we also need to do this on our provision database in Heroku. So we're deploying early and often, and in that spirit, we are going to repeat all of these steps on Heroku. So we are on this objective: provision a database to Heroku, run migrations and seeds. So the first thing is we have to create a Postgres database on Heroku, and let's just Google Heroku add Postgres. And Heroku has a way of adding Postgres onto projects that we've already got created. So first hit here is Heroku Postgres. And I am looking for a command that I can run from my command line. So HobbyDev are the free versions of these databases to provision. Let's do that one. So I'm going to grab this. So all right, so Heroku add-ons create Heroku Postgres HobbyDev. When I hit enter, all right, it sets something as my database URL. Excellent. And that looks good. So let's look back. So create a database on your local machine. What we just did was create a database on Heroku. Configure development and production environments. We actually already configured our production environment in Knex.js. So let's create a table. It says setup and run migrations. So let's see if I can remember this command. You can actually connect with your remote database and run Knex command. So I believe it is Heroku run, and then you just run the Knex command. So it'd be Knex migrate latest. All right, it says it's running those migrations. Oh, no Knex found in this directory, specify a path. You know what I didn't do is I did not push those changes up to Heroku, so it doesn't know about the Knex file. So let's do that. So git push Heroku master. Beautiful, and then it's doing the thing. Building the source. Go, 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 you can do it. I'm going to kill that and try it again. Oh, there we go. All right, so now Heroku has access to that Knex file that we built. So I'm just going to clear my screen with Command K and then up arrow to this command, Heroku run Knex migrate latest. Oh, it says it's running that migration on our provision database. Awesome, it's in production. Very cool. And then we're going to do Heroku run And then we're going to run the seed file. So Knex seed run. Super cool. All right, so I want to confirm that the migration and seeds actually made their way to the table on the provisioned Heroku database. And so this is super cool. You do Heroku PG pSQL. It'll actually connect us with our database. Awesome. And then if I say show me the data tables, I've got book. And then if I say select all from book, hey, I've got my data up on my provisioned database. Wonderful. All right, so let's quit out of that. And let's take a look at our objectives, see where we got. So we did all these things. We updated our base URL to make it match REST conventions. We created a database on our local machine. We configured our development and production environments using the knexfile.js file. We created a table using migrations. We added data to the table through seeds. And then we repeated all of those things, and we provisioned our database to Heroku. So let's just make sure that our app on Heroku still works. So Heroku open, just like we confirmed locally. And we've got to add that API version 1 books. Outstanding. All right, so in the next video, what we'll cover is how to write code so that when we hit that endpoint, we see all of the data from our database. Thank you. We'll see you soon.